off a daily fantasy. His number too high, then I'm probably fading him. He been on the road, he gon' eat up my salary. I hit up by, he gon' lie before lock. Play back to back, then I probably won't pick on the DFS bachelor, good as it gets. Bit a few liners and hit me a leg. He had a good game, but it might be a trick. Log in the Slack so I know who to pick. Sharing our liners, we all gon' get rich. New to this game, you should come to the pad. You might want some cash and get a good laugh. DFS Sports, we gon' run up a bag. He heard every game and it's making me mad. You buying your lineups, I think you a cheater. DFS bachelor, he the new leader. Yeah.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to the Bachelor Pad. I, of course, am your host of DFS Bachelor, and we're going to go over our fantasy draft picks for Friday, March 6th. It's a 10-game slate overall. There's only 9 games on Fantasy Draft. They do not have the Hawks-Wizards game, so that makes things interesting because there's a lot of good fantasy goodness there. First things first, thank you for all your guys' patience, all your kind words, the condolences. A big thank you to Fantasy Draft, too. Super kind and nice. We did have some family stuff go on, so that's why I missed the last couple of days, so I apologize for that. So we're going to have videos over the weekend to make up for the last couple of days. We'll also do our giveaway over the weekend as well for Fantasy Draft. Don't forget to comment down below with your Fantasy Draft username to qualify. We give away some entries into our NBA pick and roll over the weekend, so thank you to Fantasy Draft for that. If you don't yet have a Fantasy Draft account, go to FantasyDraft.com, enter promo code DFS Bachelor, create your account. It's absolutely free to create your account, and then you can comment with that right down below in the comment section and qualify. So a big thank you. Cheers to you all. I really do appreciate all the condolences, the kind words. We're all doing well. Things are good. If you are new to the channel, welcome to the team. Be sure to hit subscribe down below, get access to all of our content. I know I haven't had a chance to do XFL the past couple of weeks. Maybe I'll get to XFL later today. There's just a lot going on. I am going to have another video for the other sites NBA today as well. So I'll try to make up for some of the missed days. So I do appreciate all of that. For those of you who are new, Fantasy Draft, rake-free DFS. What that means is all of your entry fees go directly back into the prize pool. Higher chance at winning, higher chance of winning more. It's a lot of fun. Be sure to check out Fantasy Draft. I'm just realizing how ridiculous my overly long hair looks on camera, but I'm telling you, start getting to my age, you get worried every time you cut it. It looks thinner and thinner and thinner. That's what she said. So let's get to it. As usual, we do a core 5 early in the morning now with these 10-game slates, this time of year, illnesses, etc., rest days, tanking. There's a lot of news that's going to come out throughout the day, so really got to pay attention to everything. You can follow me on Twitter at DFS Bachelor. Still, even days that, we don't have time to do videos, etc., I still do my best to get anything of importance up there, so you can follow me there to get updates throughout the day. So let's get started. Our core 5 here today. So first at the top, we've got Miami at New Orleans. I like Jimmy Butler in this matchup. It's a paced-up game. New Orleans, in terms of fantasy draft scoring against guards, is 25th overall. And against shooting guards, New Orleans is 14th. His last game out against New Orleans, he put up a 51. It's a paced-up game for Miami. On the road, they're going to need a little bit of Jimmy Butler. 14.5 on fantasy draft. That's the equivalent of 72.50 on DraftKings. He's that's equivalent of 77.50 on DraftKings. He's actually 7,900 on DraftKings. You will notice, for those of you who are new, it has double the salary cap Fantasy Draft does, that of DraftKings. I like Jimmy Butler quite a bit tonight in that matchup. Next, I'm going a little contrarian here. Look, we've got LeBron versus Giannis, MVP versus MVP. There's been all this talk all week. Of course, they're going to want to go at it head-to-head. Title of the sex tape. But I think someone who could kind of sneak under the radar, have a big game because all the focus is on Giannis and LeBron. I like Chris Middleton. The Lakers, in terms of fantasy draft scoring, are 27th against guards. Now against small forwards, they are 3rd, but Chris Middleton's playing the 2 and the 3. His minutes should be ramping back up. We know he missed a little bit of time there with that injury, but if you look at his history against the Lakers, now the last time he played him, he only had a 26, but his previous 3 before that, a 53, a 34, and a 50. I don't think they have anyone who can deal with Chris Middleton. I think he sneaks under the radar, and at 12-4 on Fantasy Draft, you're getting him for 6,200? That's the equivalent of, and over here on DraftKings, he's 6,800. I just realized I did the math wrong on Jimmy Butler. It was 7,250. I was right. Yeah, I was right. Man, I'm getting old. But Chris Middleton, I like the matchup. I like the game. I think he's super low owned. I think he goes overlooked, and I think he's got some big upside potential. I like Chris Middleton quite a bit today. for forward/centers. Now, Luka Doncic did not practice yesterday with an illness, so we'll have to see if he plays today. He could be out, and that means Kristaps Porzingis, whether Doncic plays or not, is in a great spot. Memphis is 10th versus forward/centers, but overall against centers, they are 25th in the league. His last time out against Memphis, all he did was put up a 60. He's been on an absolute tear. You're getting him for 17,100 on FantasyDraft, the equivalent of about 8,500 on DraftKings. He's actually 9,300 on DraftKings. I think Porzingis is in a good spot tonight. I don't think he's super overly owned. Now, if Luka's out, he'll be a little bit higher owned, of course. But 9-10 game slates, again, I'm not overly concerned about ownership. There's lots of ways that you can pivot to get some lower ownership and do some things different. I think Kristaps Porzingis is in a great spot tonight. Next, for some value, Boston has a ton of injuries. Gordon Hayward out. Jaylen Brown out. Kemba Walker should play tonight. He missed the last game. So a guy like Grant Williams got the start. Now, this guy isn't some fantasy, miracle maker, and Utah is 4th against forward/centers, but you're getting him for 6,600, almost minimum salary. Another player I'm considering down there in that minimum range, kind of punt mode, so I can pay up elsewhere, is Aaron Baines. We got to keep an eye on the DeAndre Ayton situation. But Grant Williams put up a 20 in his last game, played 26 minutes, got the start. 6,600 is awfully cheap. Again, guy like Aaron Baines, maybe a Check Diallo. It depends on what Phoenix does there with the DeAndre Ayton situation. But if I'm looking for a punt and a guy who I think is going to start, it's going to be Grant Williams. You'll probably see some more Semi Ojeleye as well. I just don't play Semi Ojeleye. Bobby Portis is another guy who I kind of like down here. He's not as cheap, but he's 8,500. Let's keep an eye on Mitchell Robinson. If Mitchell Robinson sits out again, a guy like Bobby Portis could be a nice value play as well. And finally, we just talked about it, possibly no DeAndre Ayton. Phoenix just really struggles defensively up front. I think Hassan Whiteside is in a smash spot. In terms of fantasy draft scoring against forward/centers, Phoenix is allowing the second most fantasy draft points in the league to those players. Overall, against centers, they are 25th in the league, giving up a ton. He's 17,000 on fantasy draft, the equivalent of 8,500 on DraftKings. When you look at his last 4 games against Phoenix, a 56, a 49, a 35, and a 55. I think he's in a smash spot. They have absolutely no one on the team who can deal with Hassan Whiteside. I think that's a great play tonight. So if you go with that core 5 of Jimmy Butler, Middleton, Porzingis, Grant Williams, Hassan Whiteside, still leaves you 10,800 per player. Plenty of salary to fill out your roster. Again, keep your eye on all the news throughout the day. There's a chance one of these guys could just be out. You just never know. So it's really important to keep an eye, especially this time of year. Don't forget to create your fantasy draft account. If you already have one, then just comment with your fantasy draft username in the comment section below. I do truly appreciate all the kind words, the well wishes. My family does as well. Thank you all so, so much. May the fantasy gods be with you tonight. Cheers. We'll see you tomorrow for our NBA videos. I'll have another one out today. And if I can squeeze some time out today, I'll try to get an XFL video out as well. I appreciate you all so, so much. Goodbye, folks.